Friday spot is up. Mark McMillian is with us. He's a busy guy, so we're catching up with him. Fresh off a couple days ago, a big cooking seminar at your Ace Hardware in Henderson. So what went down there?
We just had some sliders. We had some smashed baked potatoes with my Grill and McMillian spices on it, and we dribbled the sweet heat barbecue sauce on it. So it was great, man. The Horizon Ridge location, we sold out of all my products in 1 hour. So that was good,
Wow.
man. The people came out. There was a ton of Chief fans that was showing up. So I was really surprised about that. And I'm sure they were using my spices and barbecue sauce last night. So shout out to Ace Hardware, man, for making this happen. And I just launched, got notice that they're going to carry my spices and sauce in 2 more locations here in the Valley. So I'm up to 3 Ace Hardware stores.
Nice. So a perfect place to use the spices and the sauce for from Mark McMillian is actually tailgating at UNLV games. There's been plenty of room in the past to tailgate at
Yes.
Allegiant Stadium, but momentum is building here. So before we talk about the game that's coming up tomorrow, let's talk about what went down in Houston. First of all, that was one of the better defensive efforts I've ever seen working the sidelines for the Rebels.
I'm like speechless. It's like night and day. I've been here for a couple of years. Obviously, you covered the team a lot more years than I have, but just going out there in training camp, we both felt like that vibe was just different. We saw the beef that they have on both O-line and D-line. You bring in some really good transfers. You shore up some positions as far as the cornerback spot. You get a little bigger. The quarterback, we didn't know who was going to start till he ran out, but he did a really good job of managing the game. They ran the ball well. Special teams, obviously he missed the first field goal. He got it blocked. I know coach was really pissed about that because he's a stickler about his special teams. But on the overall effort, I've never seen a UNLV team fly around to the ball. Jackson, I can't say enough about this young man and all the national recognition he's getting at the linebacker position is well rewarded because this kid has worked hard all offseason over the last couple of years.
Well, and one of the real splashy plays of the game was a pick six by Jalen Catalon. And
yes,
I know you had sat in the media room with Catalon as we were doing a press conference about 3 weeks ago. And the first thing you said to me is like, man, that guy's mature and he plays that way on the field.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. Like I said, we had that same kind of vibe after hearing this young man in the press conference and seeing how calm he was and just hearing about his past. If he just stays healthy, he's going to be a big key to this team. As you can see, when he's healthy, he's making plays out there, and which was an amazing pick six. There was a lot of big time plays out there. And me as a defensive back, I was in my living room jumping up and down, and everybody was like, "Man, what are you doing?" I was like, "Man, I'm excited for these guys. I'm excited for this team. I'm excited for this program."
How about the new element at quarterback with Matthew Sluka, the ability to get yards on his own, design quarterback runs, the RPO, and he threw the ball pretty well.
Yeah, he threw the ball pretty well. I think his running ability, obviously, that's another reason that it's hard to stop a mobile quarterback like that. And he's physical and tough. He was trying to get those extra yards. And I'm like, in the fourth quarter, whoa, you got a lot more games to play. But that's the way he plays the game. He threw the ball. He'll get better with his passing. Obviously, we want to see Ricky White get on track a little bit, but it's going to take time. Like I said, these kids don't get any preseason games. So that was actually their first game against a power four, whatever you want to call it, opponent. And, they smacked them in the mouth, man. And I'm excited, man. Looking forward to them putting up probably a 60 spot tomorrow.
Game tomorrow against Utah Tech at Allegiant. You can get your tickets at unlvtickets.com. They've got a 4-pack special for just $56. So take advantage of it. And season tickets for the home games are still available, again, at unlvtickets.com. And what they're trying to do is, build some momentum, get these crowds to 35 or 40,000. I'm not sure what Saturday is going to be. I know they got rid of the allotment of at least 6,000 tickets. They're pushing 7, I think, for student tickets. I know the season tickets are at a record number. And as a former player, Mark, and we're talking to Mark McMillian, it is important to have that crowd behind you. And even a smaller crowd at Allegiant can be really loud.
Yeah, definitely. And it helps with recruiting as well because kids want to win, and kids want to see people in the stands. They want to get hype. They want to be excited. It's going to take a while, but they're ahead of the curve right now, I would say, as far as getting the momentum and getting everybody involved. I see some of the people on social media. Don't be negative toward this program. Be positive. uplift these young men, put out positive tweets, take your friends out there for a nice day at the game, have a hot dog, beer, Coke, Sprite, even some Raising Cane's if you have to. Go out there and support these guys because they got some really good players that, next year they'll be playing on Sundays, and you wish you would have an opportunity to check them out before they went to the NFL.
Yeah, to have people tell me all the time about their ideas for how to beef up the crowd at the stadium. First of all, the best idea is you go.
Yep.
But when people say like, oh, they should invite a bunch of high school players, they already do that.
Yeah.
They got real aggressive last year, and between out of market high school players and their families, and in market high school kids, and even younger, they usually have between 600 and 1,000 fans from that area at the game. So they're already doing that. So you want to show those people who are in attendance that it's going to be a big crowd, and it's a really good Rebel fan base. So Chiefs and Ravens last night, just overall thoughts. I mean, great game. And of course, everyone's like, the NFL delivers again.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of things that they have to work out on both sides of the ball, both teams. But for a first game, you can't ask for a better matchup like that coming out of the gate. You got two of the best quarterbacks in the game with Mahomes and Jackson. You got one of the better defensive players in the game with, Jones, who showed up big time in the game. But, man, it was a great game. As far as the offense, there was a lot of scoring. Pacheco was one of my favorite players, man. That kid runs hard. He runs physical. And he's a 7th-round pick out of Rutgers. So, he ran the ball really well. Lamar Jackson, it was just a different Lamar, it seemed like. He was out there chirping. He was out there pushing guys. He was out there running over DBs. Normally he'd just get out of bounds, but this game meant a lot to him and the Ravens organization. But Andy Reid, they came away late in the game. But I tell you, man, this Raven team is going to be something to look forward to down the stretch.
Yeah, the one thing I think Lamar's got to get over the hump on is winning these close games against the best competition. Yes. And his missed pass. I mean, it was a really bad miss. Zay Flowers was open. You didn't have to mess with the likely play where his foot's on the line. Zay Flowers was right there, and he just threw way behind him. You got to nail that pass. The best quarterbacks in the league make that pass.
Yeah, and like I said, he's been behind the 8 ball a couple of times in big-time games, and that's what everybody's looking for. Can he get over the hump of winning the big close games when they really mattered? And like I said, missing that touchdown pass, they go up, and obviously their defense was playing pretty solid, and they were really getting after Patrick Mahomes toward the end of that fourth quarter. Who knows? We could be talking about the Ravens, having home field advantage because that was a big loss to the Chiefs early.
Chef Mark McMillian is up on Cofield Co here on a Football Friday. We're at Treasure Island in the Golden Circle Sportsbook and Bar. So you mentioned earlier you were rooting for Jalen Catalon, fellow defensive back.
Yes.
I know you also root for the little guys. So 4'2", 140, 5'10", 100 and whatever he is, 82-pound. Xavier Worthy, that was a coming out party.
My goodness, you talk about speed. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, you can see his face just lit up, man. He is so excited to have someone that can go downfield. This guy turned a bubble screen into like a 40, 50-yard touchdown without getting touched, and it was like he was floating on air. I saw Chris Carter tweet out, he's like, man, that dude is fast. So when you can get the approval of some Hall of Fame players that was tuning in, man, you cannot teach speed, and that is something Mr. Worthy came out with. 2 touchdowns in his debut. You can't get no better than that.
So Mark is hanging with the people of Vegas all the time, and you mentioned your appearance last week at Ace Hardware in Henderson. You got one coming up on the opposite side of town, north side of town, at Sante Fe.
Yes. At
the pizza pasta joint there, right?
Yeah, I'll be at Stallone's this Saturday for a meet and greet with my guy Brett. Everybody knows him from the show Tanked. Really good guy. So they're going to be using my spices and barbecue sauce on their pizzas, on their wings. So, man, everybody's going to be full of that McMillian spice and sauce, man, over the weekend. So shout out to my guy Brett, man. And some of the proceeds will go back to my program for the LIFT program for kids that's been harassed and bullied. So I'm excited, man. I'm going to be giving away Grilling McMillian hats. Got some Eagle photos, and I'm giving away a old school Kelly Green 29 Mark McMillian jersey. So come on out, man, and have a good time. Enjoy some food. I know they got the cool little sports book there as well, and the game will be on. So come on out and just hang out and have some wings and some pizza.
And that's tomorrow.
That is Sunday.
Sunday, okay. Sunday, noon to 2. Sunday, noon to 2, Stallone's inside of Sante Fe. So get out there to hang out with Mark McMillian. All right, we got the the game tonight, and the same sports book, the Santa Fe, will have the game tonight. That's Eagles and Packers in Brazil. I think one of the intriguing matchups in this game, Mark, is the Philly D line, which is pretty damn awesome, and the
Yes.
Green Bay O line. The Packers O line isn't bad, but it's in flux. So this is, when you're trying to get it together, this is not the D line you want to be going against.
Yeah, we'll see how how it plays out. Like I said, you still got to play the game. I know it looks good on paper, saying that the Eagles should dominate in the trenches, but we still got to play the game, and we'll see how it goes toward the later end of the season. We saw Jordan Love, who everybody was talking about coming out of college. He really shined. And if Christian Watson can stay healthy, he's their big threat receiver, number 9. Who actually had an opportunity to coach this young man when he was smaller. So I'm always pulling for my guys that had an opportunity to coach with. So Christian Watson, I told people in the draft, so remember this kid's name. So if he can stay healthy, it's going to be exciting. And we'll see how the Eagles do without Kelsey. I know a lot of people talk about the weapons that they have, but the center is the quarterback on the line of scrimmage that gets everybody lines up and notifies the blitz and the front. So I don't think people from the outside really know how big of a difference it is to lose an all-pro Hall of Fame center like that.
Well, and the other thing is, in short yard situations, I don't think Saquon Barkley is really a short yard guy, and they were pretty much automatic with Hurts behind Kelsey. So now what happens on the goal line and 4th and 1 and 4th and 2 situations?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Like I said, everybody's going to be looking for that first 4th and 1 to see if they're still going to do the tush push. I'm excited to see how Saquon fits into this offense. Like I said, man, when you get released or you get traded or whatever, man, it lights a fire up under any kind of player. And I know when I didn't get signed back from the Eagles, I was fired up, because it's almost like the team doesn't want you or they don't value you as much. But I'm looking for a big year from Saquon Barkley and a much improved Jalen Hurts as well. So see how he gradually improves with all the weapons that he has to throw it around him as well.
Well, and on the other side, it's exciting to see the debut of Josh Jacobs for the Packers. I'd like to see him. Not that his career, didn't wilt, but it slowed down a little bit his last year with the Raiders. So I'd like to see him resurrect his career and go out there and, have a 1,300-yard rushing season. And that's going to help the Packers a lot. And especially if he does it against the Eagles, if he has a big night.
Yeah, I'm looking forward for a big game. Obviously, everybody know how I love my Bama guys, man. I'm a big fan of Josh Jacobs. Even when he was here, I was always breaking bread with him in the locker room, just kind of talking about just life, just football all the time. But like I said, he's pissed off. And like he's going to run hard. He's going to be physical. He's played the game at a high level. What he adds to that offense is a running back that can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. So, I know Jones was injured in and out of the lineup for the Packers, so he's no longer there. But Jordan Love is going to love having Josh Jacobs in the backfield, as any quarterback would, when you can have a guy that can rush the ball as well as pick up the blitz as well.
Chef Mark McMillian is with us. Last couple of minutes, your next phase of charity work downtown with your pizza for Nathan Adelson Hospice is up and running, right?
Yes, for the whole month of September, I got a barbecue chicken pizza topped with bacon, mozzarella cheese. I got some green peppers and a little parsley just for a little green color on top. And the proceeds will go back to the Nathan Adelson Hospice Care Center and my LIFT program. So we're going to raise money to put a healing bench at the hospice center for families when they're going through something. This is a nice little place that they picked at the facility that they can go have some quiet time with their family. So we're going to have that bench shipped out once we get everything worked out with the funds. But man, I'm excited. Evil Pie, get out there for the whole month of September. The Grillin' McMillian barbecue chicken pizza.
Raiders, Chargers. This may be shocking for people to hear about this rivalry, but I think the game comes down to who runs the ball better. Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it in this game?
Well, we know Khaki Pants, man. He can run the ball, and he's got a really good running back over there. The Raiders, they have Zaire. There's still a little question marks, in my opinion, how well they can run the ball. So, man, if I had to go with my bet, I would say the Chargers will probably run the ball a little bit better. The Raiders struggle a little bit stopping the run, but adding Christian Wilkins should stop that up the middle a little bit better. So it's going to be a good ball game, but I see the Raiders just have too many weapons on offense to lose this game. And they cannot come out of the gate 0-1 and then go up to a pissed off Baltimore team and face those guys. So they got to get off on a good start.
Well, I can tell you if Zamir White goes off, the crowd is going to roar. And I always find it really interesting that In the past we saw it with Justin, or check that with Phillip Rivers, having to use a silent count at home.
Yeah.
And Justin Herbert's probably going to have to do the same thing because you're probably going to have 65, 70% Raider fans at SoFi.
I know half my family is going to be there cheering for the Raiders, so it is going to be a home game for the Raiders, which is great. The Raider Nation needs to get behind this team. Like I said, they're going to need it. It's going to be a long season. And as we saw last night, you have to beat the Chiefs and line up and smack them in the mouth. And if you don't have DBs that can cover those guys like Worthy, it's going to be a long night.
Mark McMillian, you can join him at Sante Fe at Stallone's on Sunday, noon to 2, leading into the Raiders Chargers and actually part of the game. So get on out there. Mark, we appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you.
I appreciate you having me on.